Welcome to on Smite. We don't have any. No, I like that. I don't have my real
That was
guitar
awesome.
either. It's kind of bad.
I like it.
On Smite 409. Gonna talk Paladins. Yay! Hey, it's on Smite number 409, recorded on November 19th, 2015. I'm Brent Copeland.
I am Ryan Curran.
And I'm Bitburner.
And I'm Paladins. Yay!
Paladins.
It's our special guest tonight is Paladins. We'll be talking to Paladins just a little bit. So if you're waiting for that, well, continue to wait. Because first we're going to talk about us. Because why not? We're here. It's a good
That's what
topic.
people are here for, is for us. Absolutely. Nothing to do with the games. No.
That's why we put that up front. Because you have to get through us, talking about us, and then you can hear about the other stuff. So speaking of Raging, how was your week?
My week is, well, it's actually been 2 weeks, I guess, since the show.
That's true.
Smite-wise, I've been on a pretty good winning streak lately. Probably about a 2-for-1 win-loss ratio, except I suck at Clash, apparently, because I am 0-4 in the new mode that just opened up.
I was
with
reading
the
your
new
notes.
patch.
I'm all, wait,
Yeah.
does he mean 0-4 like he's been losing? Damn.
Yeah, 4 losses in a
Maybe
row.
you typoed and did it. Maybe you were doing
No.
good, but
No, I haven't done well there. But I did get my Smite Guru score up to 1900 briefly. Then I did the 4 Clash losses, and that went bye-bye.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I've been playing a bit more Conquest still. Moving into the support role. I'm actually learning how to play Ares as support. When I've tried to play Ares in Conquest before, I always went the same way that I went in Arena, which either means I fed really hard or I carried. And now I'm actually trying to learn to play him properly in Conquest, so that has gone
Nice.
fairly well. And the only other thing of note was just the very last match I played. I got Nemesis in Assault, and everyone knows how much I hate assassins. But we didn't have any tank, so I'm like, okay, I'll just tank Nemesis, and I out-tanked the enemy Amir. So
Nice. Sucky Amir.
it's all, well, I mean, Nemesis can do it because she's got that damage shield, right? So,
Yeah.
and I was really annoying the Cuckoo on the other team because every time he dropped a tornado, I just turned my shield on and run through it. So he got the damage reflect.
yeah.
And
Nice.
I took some damage, of course, from it, but I had a Stone of Gaia, so it didn't really matter. So yeah, that went pretty well. And yeah, other than that, I haven't had a chance to really play on the new patch much because of Paladins.
Dun 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 dun.
I had tried to split them up as much as I could, and I missed a window of time, and I lost out on some free gems, and I was kind of mad.
Oh no.
You know, because if you don't log in every day, it resets. Right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I missed mine on the weekend too. I completely forgot on Sunday, which is the day I would have got the 35. So,
And
damn.
I was like, oh.
That's painful. I wish they would do like Guild Wars 2 where it's just like incremental, but it just doesn't increment if you don't log in. So you don't miss the rewards. It just takes a day later.
Mm,
And actually, Guild Wars 2 actually goes a full month. So they have a week of different rewards. And then the next week, all of those rewards are the same rewards, but they're upped just a little bit. So like if you keep playing for a full month, the rewards get like pretty crazy, like 6 levels. Anyway, different game. So, Betty, your week, or is that it? Was that it?
Oh no, man!
That was
I've
it?
been having fun with Smite and Paladins, but let's talk about Smite. Really, I had not played the new Nox. Now I misspoke and was saying hell the other night. We won't go into that.
which made perfect sense to me because Hell is one of my absolute favorites.
But but I had not played Nox since. I don't know how I avoided it. I had not played Nox since she was changed.
Right.
And I love her. She's my favorite god now, I think.
She's really cool now. Like it's a
I
big change.
really dig her a lot. I went like 15-1 with her the other night too in Arena. Like I was just tearing it up because I finally kind of got into the flow of how she works and everything, and I think there's an advantage right now because not everybody understands how she works.
Yeah.
People are kind of like me, have kind of stayed away because it looks complex, but it's not really. The going into somebody as a shadow and then being able to pop out does so much damage if you do it at the right time and combo your attacks and stuff.
And I had the problem in Assault with that ability where people don't understand what to do yet, and like they'll be backing out, and you're like, no, go near them, please.
Yeah, you have to really pick the teammates and pick the right timing. And I've missed a few teammates because they've dodged when I've tried to jump into them. But she's a great god now. Way better than she was. Way better than she was. Once you learn the abilities and how they're working. Her and Soul. I've realized now that there's a lot of 3-letter gods that are girls. Soul, Hell, Nox, whatever. But yeah, so Soul, I've been playing a lot of her. She's a lot of fun too. Yeah, people don't. That's another
I've
one
yet to play her.
Understand all the moves on her, and you can take advantage of that a little bit.
Well, I figured you'd like her because she's basically a hunter in mage clothes. So.
Oh yeah, and that big, huge AOE on her number 2 is just. People don't know, And if you build right, you can just shag people up and just get away. and then they get mad and chase you, and the rest of the team comes in and kills them.
And they all die. Well, yeah, and I haven't played her yet. I finally finished out everyone else, and then they added a new god. So now I'm at 69. Need to get Soul, and I did play a little bit of Chiron today, and I guess we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But I've been kind of in the same mode with playing too much Paladins and not enough Smite. Like I don't wonder if they're going to have that issue. Like as they get people into Paladins, are they going to be
split their demographic up?
Yeah. I mean, because I like both. Like part of the reason why I like Smite over say League of Legends is because I like that type of game, which is Paladins and Team Fortress 2 and that sort of thing. And it's I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully not. Hopefully they don't eat their own. Hopefully they eat a whole bunch more other people.
I hope they can make another game and another one. And so we have like 4 games to play, and then I can just never leave the house.
Yeah, because it's hard enough for us to meet up in game as it is, let alone if there's 4 different options that we could be looking for each other in. Yeah.
Well, they need 7 games.
I was like, I want a card game. I still want like a Smite card game like Hearthstone, but there are cards in Paladins, and they're pretty cool. Like, I dig that aspect of the game big time.
So maybe if they came up with 7 games, they could just have one open each day, and that's the game you played.
Oh yeah, sure, that'll go well.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Right? Or maybe not.
Like just like their match of the week or whatever now.
Game of the day.
You get Tribes today, Global Agenda tomorrow, then Smite, then Paladins.
Hey, at least people would play Global Agenda.
Well, I was gonna say,
they may not.
Probably like that because it forced everybody to play Tribes with them.
Yeah, I don't want everybody in Tribes. Go me.
Okay.
But I don't need everybody in Tribes. I'm happy with my few servers and I just a little bit about that. They they're gonna change it up again. I'm actually happy about that because they listen to a lot of the feedback from the community and they're making changes based on that feedback. So they're sticking with it, man. I think that's really cool.
Still feels like Christmas.
Yeah, I just people are very optimistic, and I think that, and they think that they're up to something or whatever, and I just don't think that's what's going on with the thing. I think the people, they just had different focus, but they're coming back now, and they really love Tribes. Some of the guys who worked the most on it are the ones who are been spearheading the changes and that sort of stuff. So. Yeah, so I mean, we got 3 games that are going to be active from HiRez now, because I think they're going to really, like, they probably need a launcher like we talked about last time. Where they're going to have some sort of
Well, yeah,
all their
we were
games in
talking
one
about it
launcher.
last night that like Blizzard, what they do is really smart is they have one launcher for all their games. So when you open up that launcher, you can see a little bit. You see all the games there, and so you're like, well, I wonder what's going on, and you can kind of go down and get the news about each game, pick which one you want to play, see all your friends that are in any of the games, and that might dictate what you play as well.
Would be
And
really good is if they also had your friends lists linked on there, so you
yeah,
could actually see on one place, are my friends
Oh,
in
right.
Paladins tonight, or are my friends in Smite right now?
right.
So
So
So you don't get
hopefully
cursed.
that's our idea for HiRez. Have one launcher for all the games. It doesn't seem like that would be actually too difficult to do.
No, I don't think so.
So yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else Smite related this week. Oh, I did get to watch some of the worlds yesterday.
Oh, did you see today?
oh
No,
man,
Did you
no,
see
today,
the upset today?
oh,
I missed the upset.
I had it playing in the background while I was working, and yeah, Dignitas got shut out.
no,
No, that was
envious.
yesterday. No, wait.
T- no, today, and this was just like half an hour ago or an hour
Yeah.
ago. Uh, Team NME took out Team Envious, and
Oh,
Envious is
really?
basically considered the top seed for the tournament. So Enemy is going to Worlds. They're the first team in the Super Regionals to officially qualify for Worlds. Right now, I'm amazed we have any viewers because Cloud9 versus Eager is on right now, which is going to be bloody insane. And the winner of that one goes to Worlds. Envious is relegated to, they can still try and get in on the wild card. They have to win the third place match against whoever loses Eager Cloud9, and then they'll have to beat whoever gets the third place in Europe. So that one's a bit of a shocker.
But yeah, and yesterday it was the one I was watching was Dignitas and Paradigm.
Oh yeah, Paradigm ended up winning that one, but it was
Yeah,
really close. It went to 5.
yeah. They had to win the last matches to do it. But it was interesting to
My
watch. It was really cool to watch.
my Twitter almost died during that because of Lydia. She was tweeting about every 15 seconds during that whole tournament.
What was going down? So I guess that's about
Rebroadcast is probably what I was watching.
all of what's cracking, and let's talk about the patch a little bit. We got a lot of new stuff this week. We got a new god, Chiron, new game mode, Clash. We got a new surrender logic. We also got a new chest. So that's a bunch of cool stuff. So I guess let's start with Chiron. Um, what are y'all's first impressions? Did y'all get a chance to play with or against?
Yeah, I got to play. Um, it's a pretty crazy god. It's got a great escape.
Yeah.
Great with crit. So if you get some crit, um, just like any hunter, does some good. It's got a great cleanup kind of targeting missile system. You're number 2. If you have this target, somebody's trying to get away. They've got just a little bit of health. Fire this missile at them if they're targeted, and pick them off as they're leaving. So that's pretty cool. If you're galloping away, you pass through a god, you actually kick them with your hind legs as you go through, and you can do crit damage. So that, that was really cool. I think there's a knock-up, but I can't remember. But it's a lot of fun to play, yeah.
Yeah, and
The
I
ult
love
is
the
really,
ult.
the ult is really cool. Let's say you die while you're ulting, but you kill somebody. If you don't kill somebody, you're dead. But let's say you're ulting, and during that time they take away all your health, but you kill somebody, you will revive with as much health as the person that you killed had when you started to kill them. If that makes sense from your first hit with them.
Yeah,
It's
I
kinda
mean
like how-
it's very reminiscent of the Kepri ult. Only you don't need someone
yeah.
to do it on you. You do it yourself. So yeah, it's definitely something that would be good when you get those 2 hunters boxing at the end, and and they're both down to really low health, and yeah, Chiron can just ult, and you're screwed either way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he has to get a kill in order to induce,
Now, and is Chiron considered a hunter? Is it?
Yeah, I believe so.
And
He's considered a hunter, but he's definitely got some magey elements to him, I find.
it feels very
Um,
magey to me.
yeah,
So I guess hunter is just that it's physical range damage.
well,
That's
and
why they're.
Yeah,
he is. You would want to build attack speed and crit on him, like Bit said.
I found that it seemed shorter to me. I could have been just the way, because his body is and where his where his little thing is. I don't know.
Well,
But
I
it
just
just
feel
seemed
like all of its abilities are ranged, as opposed to like Medusa seem really kind of close up. You need to get in there and kind of do it.
No, not really. I mean, I wouldn't say they're. I mean, some of them, I guess, they have some range to them, but it's not like they're big AOE's.
Right. No,
Um,
not
you know,
AOEs, but they are
so
ranged
no,
abilities. I
there's
mean,
no AOE. Everything's all very narrowed attacks. But
well, no, I
yeah,
mean, our one's a
was-
huge AOE. I mean, it's a big circle that you put down and it
Oh yeah,
hits
but
everybody.
and you know what? That's kind of confusing because it does a lot of damage to enemies, but the way it's written up is that it's more valuable to your team
Teammates.
for washing.
Well, it says something about telling the teammates to get out of the
CC.
area. I
yeah,
don't know,
well,
like
it
you're
does something
closing
to heal
off.
them with the leaves or whatever.
cleanses.
Yeah, it's a cleanse, but you
Oh, yeah.
gain these leaves that are your passive, and those are used to cleanse during that time. But I when I played them, I couldn't. The way it worked, it was the way it popped and everything, reminiscent of the Apache. Right? It's kind of like it's like that, but I would think that's for damage. So I was using it in that way. And every time I put it on anybody to use it as any kind of crowd control or cleanse, it didn't seem effective enough. And maybe because I don't know, that's not the
I think it's just one benefit.
playing in an arena
possibly.
or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, I mean, it's there's some weird things in there. There's some healing involved, and I think someone was saying that it's actually on Reddit. They were saying, was it being considered as a healer in assault at some point, or
I've heard that too, but I couldn't
Yeah.
say yes or no either way. I do find like he's basically a hunter mixed with hell, is really what it comes down to. He's got some healing, he's got a cleanse, and he's got. I mean, his AOE damage is kind of localized around him, especially with his the homing missiles, because he has to hit the auto first, right? So yeah, he very much strikes me as just being a hunter mixed with hell.
it reminds me of how Cupid is. Cupid has healing abilities, but they're not like super healing abilities. He's not necessarily a support healer. He's a hunter.
yeah, no, I don't think he should be in healing if they put him in healing.
No, but
In
I
assault,
think
I don't
that
think
just
it's
has to
enough.
do with the lore of the god, and they just chose they needed a hunter. Hey, let's mix it up. But it's like they took an ability from Al Apache, or pretty much anybody that has any kind of circle that pops and does damage and does, or like hell or something. And then you've got the Gallop, which is kind of reminiscent of Vimana when he does the run and knocks people up. Because you can run for a long period of time, and you have that kind of where you can't move left or right. You can just kind of bend a little bit to the left or bend a little bit to the right, kind of like.
But you can't stop it and
Paladins.
get out of it and turn around.
Yeah, you can.
So
you can.
it's like I was using it to like chase down people, like not to really get away, but to like.
I was using it to go through somebody and knock them up with a back kick, and as soon as I back kicked them, I'd turn around and attack them that way. So, and I was tearing people up that way. Yeah, I just don't think they were expecting it per se. Here comes this guy. He just knocked. I didn't know he was going to knock me up just by passing through me. Now he's behind me, facing me, on the area where I'm running away to, and doing crit.
So I guess that's we'll play Chiron more, of course, in the next weeks and be able to talk more about it. There was a new mode, the Clash mode. I haven't played it yet. Have y'all had a chance to play it?
I played it in the beta, but I haven't played the final. Is it much different, Reagan?
The one thing I think that they changed is I seem to remember in the PTS there was no way around the towers. The jungle didn't cut through, and the towers blocked the entire lane. Now there's like this tiny little skinny sliver in lane that you can actually get around the enemy tower if for whatever reason you want to get back there, whether it's to steal their XP harpies or to try and gank or something.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
But yeah, for the most part, it was very similar. And obviously, I'm terrible at it or just had really crap luck. But yeah, it's. I've heard a lot of people say it's like Dawngate, which was that MOBA that EA started and killed right before it was going to go out of beta. And I don't know. It still seems like I should enjoy it, being that it's very team fight based.
But you lose.
But well, I don't know what. I mean, I just I don't get the meta yet. Yeah, we don't have the strategies down yet for it, so. We actually got really embarrassed.
Basically, it's still in beta, which that's true. It is still kind of beta.
So and they also go on.
I was going to say I don't see how it's a mixture between Conquest and Arena though. I really don't. Obviously, I'm a bigger Arena player than Conquest, but I just don't see how the two bridge and meet in the middle at Clash. It doesn't jive for me.
It's just 2 lanes instead of 3.
I'm just
basically they have that in League of Legends too. There's a mode where there's 2 lanes and fewer towers, but there's still towers and a couple middle jungle objectives, and it plays completely different. There's also I think they only play with 3 heroes or champions or whatever the hell they call their stupid freaking avatars in that game. So yeah, it'll take some while. They'll figure out some bugs, and we'll play it some when Paladins is down, and I'll be able to talk about it more later. Also, there was a change to the surrender logic. So 5-minute surrenders is now an option if a player never loads its start.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I think is needed. And it will even give you a notice, like if it happens to you and you're eligible. And there are very strict eligibility so that it's not like it can't just be a disconnect before 5 minutes, because otherwise what you get is, oh, you suck, hurry up and disconnect so then we can surrender and we only lose half of our elo for it.
Yeah.
So it's only if they don't load or within the first 30 seconds of the match. If they don't load, then when the 5-minute mark comes, there will be a pop-up and say you have the option to surrender.
That's all good. It's like, hey, let's throw a Band-Aid on this. I think the real thing is to not have the game start until all people are in there, but then give like every minute give you the option to like, hey, do you want to kick this person and let someone else take their spot? Something like that.
Before the match even loads.
Yeah, before the match even loads.
Or even make that automatic. If the game can't load you in 30 seconds, it goes and pulls somebody else who just queued up.
Yeah. I think that it'd be great if there was like a fill spot that you could do. Like just check yourself as, I'll be on kind of like fill duty, and if a game needs someone, I'll play anything and then suck me in or something like that. Like, I don't know if there's something like that, but it's just like this whole, don't let me play 5 minutes of a crappy game even. Like there's no point. Like let's go ahead and just not play that game.
Dakota does make a good point in chat though. The problem with that theory is that, especially if you're playing ranked or conquest, god selection's important, and you just pulling somebody in at random, maybe who hasn't even had a chance to pick their god, who's just gonna have to fill for somebody else who picked something else, right? So that's it's an interesting theory, but it wouldn't work the way we just spit it out.
Right, but you're going to get losses or stuff like that in ranked, or it's not going to count. The whole idea is not to have the game play. Not to waste your time playing a game for 5 minutes. If you're just going to cancel out, even in league, I think it's even more important in league if you're going to get a negative or not a positive or however it works.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, and then the only other advantage to be aside from being able to quit early, and I kind of mentioned it before, is if you are on the team that surrenders in that case, because it's a 4v5, you lose only half of the elo you would have lost for a real loss, while the winning team still gets their full elo. So
so,
the
but
winning team doesn't get punished for it, and you still get punished a little bit, but you don't get punished as bad as you would have.
right, but honestly, everybody kind of gets punished because the people. I mean, there's no real game there, so why does anybody get anything, right? Like, why does a team that may not deserve any points gets full points? A team that definitely doesn't deserve to get lost points gets lost points. Like, that doesn't make sense either way to me. It's like, I understand it's like, you want people to get stuff for their time, but I would, I guess to make it simple, just be like, someone doesn't load in and you give them till like the minions, would start or whatever. And if they're not in by then, you know, kick it back out to lobby for a minute and
Yeah,
maybe,
maybe.
and then give y'all the option. Do we want the option to go start a new game or do we want to give them another minute? Like, let's stop the game. Let's pause the game, give people time to get in if that's the case. Because even if what if they come back a minute, 4 minutes in? We're still at a handicap now. Now you might have to play the full 10 minutes and still, I don't know.
Hmm.
That's a whole show in itself, I guess, discussing that.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a good band aid.
It is a big issue.
Let's see what else. New chest. They got the Child's Play chest in. I believe it's like 400 gems, and there's 2 new
Yeah,
skins.
it's basically the holiday chest. So there's 2 new holiday skins. The really creepy, innocent little girl Skilla skin, which is, I don't know, it just seems really weird and out of place to me.
Well, they're all for Child's
And
Play, so
well,
it's
that's
like
true. And then, geez, I'm drawing a blank. I should know this.
the other skin. It's the
Nutcracker
Nutcracker.
Alposh. And
Yeah.
the voice pack on it is absolutely ridiculous. It's taken straight out of Rudolph, the old claymation Rudolph.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, he's quite the thing. The best is his little zombies are now wearing tutus. So when he sends them out, they do little pirouettes as they spin out in their little pink tutus.
Funny.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a weird skin, but it's one of those ones that's just crazy and fun.
Yeah, I've been
Sweet.
going nuts with Alposh, man. He's a good god, especially in Assault. If you get him in Assault, game over.
Yeah, he's really overpowered in Assault, absolutely.
Also, Odyssey this week they released a gnome ward skin you can buy. Last time we missed the Ratatasker in the crazy.
In the Fenrir costume.
What? No, well, I think of it more as what was the movie? Ice Age.
Yeah, it looks like the Ice Age guy.
The like
Oh yeah.
crazy
Okay,
hamster
yeah.
thing.
It is, but it isn't.
Yeah, they can't say that.
Really,
But so it's that crazy weasel looking thing from Ice Age. I think that's the movie. And then the guarded gnome. I haven't seen it yet, but I guess it's a gnome. So
I was
looks
disappointed.
It
I
looks
thought
kind of like tattered and old. I don't know.
I thought being
Like
as it
it's in
was
the yard.
during the Norse stop and it's gnome. They could have just done a play on words and made it gnomed and made it a little garden gnome that looks like Odin instead of just the thing that looks like the Travelocity roaming gnome.
Scat is that rat's name that Dakota pointed out. It's Scat.
I was like, why are you talking about
That's
scat on the
hard.
show? Has it gotten that bad?
Scat is
Rat.
poop. Scat is poop. My bad.
Good job,
You
Dakota.
lie, Dakota.
And next week comes to something really cool. Cool skin. I guess we can talk about that next week. But also we got Kepri's Mastery skins, and all esports chests are going to be available while Super Regionals is on. So go get
Which
them
is
while you
right
can.
now.
right now. So quit listening to the show and go get them. Also, the Xbox, they caught up to the last patch, but no Chiron Clash. But they have a holiday chest, SWC loot pack, things you can buy. I think that's smart. Get everything you can buy in, at least, right?
Yes.
And no balance changes this patch, and no new gods until after SWC, though they will balance stuff.
Yeah, they deliberately didn't do balance patch changes on this patch because of super regionals. Then they'll do some balance changes in the time in between now and Worlds, and then I'm sure probably 2-3 weeks before Worlds they'll stop with the balance changes as well.
Well, the teams get a nice group of gods that they can play. Okay, so that was the patch. That was Smite. Now we get our guest.
Now we'll get to what Brent really wants to talk about.
Well, I really want to go play. Like, okay, let's take a vote. Who wants us not to talk about Paladins? So, if you've been living under a rock or an Amir, then you don't know about the new game that HiRez is putting out. But they've just put it out. It is in beta, just out, and you can get in it right now. It's called Paladins. You can go to paladins.com. And for, I believe, $20, you can get into the beta if you can't get a beta key somewhere else.
And the beta keys don't seem to be that hard to get a hold of.
No, there's
but still, even though I have beta key already, I'm tempted to buy the Founders Pack because it's a pretty good deal.
I did buy the Founders Pack. The only thing I would say about that, though, is it seems like the access key you get for buying the Founders Pack won't be transferable. So I actually bought my Founders Pack first, and those of us who had the early access codes, we actually got 2 beta codes. So I had 2 to give away. But I don't think you're going to get another one by buying the Founders Pack at this point because you've already logged in with one of those other ones. You won't get it back.
Now, they do give you an extra one, though. In your welcome email, they give you your key, and they say, here's one other key that you can give to a friend to get them in.
That's cool.
Yeah. That. And I mean, there was tons of giveaways on Twitter as a result of that on Tuesday when it came out. Everybody got the email and like, holy crap, there's a second key in here.
Yeah. So and also with that, you get a warhouse. A warhouse. It's a big warhouse that you get to live in. A infernal war horse that you ride around, because that's a big part of the game, is riding around on your mount. We'll get more to that. Also, you get 20 card chest, which there's 5 cards per card chest.
I think it's just 4, isn't it?
5. There's 5 in each chest.
No, I thought it was only 4, but okay.
And so that's pretty cool. And we've been playing this week, and they actually had their first patch since patch with some meat to it today. And they added 15 new heroes to the game. So it'll be really cool getting. I just wanted to see their faces, see if they. No, they didn't really add any new.
I
new
didn't
heroes
play.
yet.
I did log in today, Brent. I didn't play, but I did log in.
I'm trolling
But
my
they did
own
add a
team
map
here.
or something, right?
Yeah, new map. No, they added in leveling today, so now you can
leveling.
level, and you get experience each time you play, and as you level up. Now, what I'm assuming is you get a chest, a radiant chest, which is the ones you get with these cards or with the Founders Pack. Each level, I leveled to level 2 and got 2. I don't know if that was because I got level 2 or just a bug or what, but I was happy to have 2 chests to open. So that was kind of cool. So anyway, the game, it's kind of a hybrid between a bunch of different games. People throw the MOBA word in, but I think I don't think you can call it a MOBA because it doesn't have the minion waves. That's one of the biggest things I think about MOBAs is you have that minion wave that you're fighting with, and it doesn't have that. It's a lot more like TF2, where you capture a point, but the cool thing is you also have siege engines, kind of like, and it's not like push the cart in TF2, but so you capture a point and then a siege engine spawns for your team that races, and it gets faster the further along in the game, or I guess it's the more siege tanks you spawn, the faster it goes. because by the end of the game,
Oh,
it's
is
just
that what it is?
racing to the
Yeah.
other teams gate, and games are super fast. So anyway, as
Well,
it
they
races
can
to
be.
their thing,
Can
it starts shooting down their gates, and they have 3 gates, and if you kill all 3 of their gates, you win.
It's very the mechanic behind it is very similar actually to Siege and Smite. Um, the key difference is there's only one. There's only like there isn't lanes with towers. There's just the 3 gates like at the base, and there's no minions like Brent was saying. So basically, every time this like the siege juggernaut comes up, you have a huge team fight to get it, and it's going one way or the other, and that really is what decides the game.
And the contention point for all the maps are these to spawn those things are these little circles that you have to stand on and build up the points. And a lot
Capture
of people,
points.
I think it works a little differently than most games do. Most games, like a capture point, you will sit on the capture point, but if you move off, it'll tick back down, and you're not capturing it anymore, like Battlefield and Team Fortress 2. But this one, when you go and stand on the circle, it counts it up. But if you move off, it stays there. Those points are still counted, and I don't think everybody's got that yet, because that's the key to the game. And it's just getting people on and off that circle constantly to build those points up. Most people have just been kind of going for kills sitting around the circle, but it really is about just controlling that circle. Even just if you have one person on it rotating out, you're still building up those points. They don't tick down for any reason, and that's a typical game meta mechanic. So I think people, I thought that at first. I thought that's how it was working at first, and then I started to see that things how they're working, and that's not the case.
The other thing with it that I learned today, and I still am not absolutely sure it's true, but Lincoln was telling me this. Lincoln Bob, that guy who was on the show every once in a while, he may be in the chat, I don't know. But he was saying that it only counts the first 3 people. So having 5 people on the point doesn't do any better than having 3 people. So the max you really need is 3.
That makes sense, because I've seen it count up by 3. I've never seen it count up by anything higher than that.
Like 4 or 5. And I thought it counted up basically for every person on there you got an extra point, but apparently
it would still count if you were really for some reason having a scrum on it, and there were 5 of you and 2 of the if there were 4 of you and 2 of the enemy all within the circle, I think you get 2 points for that. So having the 5th person on your team come in would get you up to 3. But and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong with that, but that does seem to be the case. There can be 2 of you and 1 of the enemy, and then you'll gain 1 point per tick. So it still matters to be in the circle, and that you're generally way better off having a tank, and you want your tank in the middle in the circle.
And the healer.
Well,
maybe the healer, and then all the others like outside sniping people off, because if you all get on that circle, everybody in the game has a massive damage like AoE, and you have to be clustered to all be on that circle. So you do not want to all be on there
I think the
when Pip
strats are
throws a
going
flask
to,
in.
Yeah, I think the strats are going to
definitely
change and evolve, because like I've been doing one lately that seems to be working better, is where the tank actually doesn't go on the circle. He goes through it and pushes into their back line and keeps them busy while everybody else goes down to the circle and shoots from there out to where the people are harassing. So you get the points, harass, and because what happens if my problem is the tank gets down there, pop up the shield, but as soon as that shield goes, it's pretty much end of your team if you're sitting there on the circle with everybody, because they just know where to focus all the damage, and then you add Grok in there with his chain lightning, and you're just screwed.
Oh man, Grok. Surprisingly enough, Grok is my champion in this game.
Yeah, I've been going to.
I very much am liking Grok, and that chain lightning is brutal when you're grouped up.
Yeah, and I think it's going to evolve, and I mean, like, we're not really going to talk about any of the bugs or like the balancing issues, because we're talking 3 days into beta. All that's of course going to be there. It's really not bug wise though. I really haven't found many.
I,
So I mean,
I haven't
it's
had
really
any.
polished
No,
that
not
way.
really. The game seems to run very smoothly. Yeah, there's balance issues, and they're already starting to address those. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's certainly for being a beta. I haven't really seen any bugs. Although I read something that they had a bug about card distribution when rolling those chests for those of us that bought Founders Packs on the first day. We got way more rares than we should have supposedly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
the
and
that's the benefit of getting in on day one, people.
yeah. Well, and something else they seem to have changed because on day one, I got 11 legendary from opening decks. And then it seemed like every game I would get one or two legendaries while playing. Today, I and I want to say last night even I wasn't getting. It was really rare to get a legendary card throughout the whole game. I seem to only get like one, if ever. And I went through a few games without any. So I don't know if they tweaked that at the same time, because that's
Well, that's why
another
the
way to
That
code's
kind of
white
deal
right
with it.
now.
That was this morning that they were fixing that. Yesterday, the patch yesterday was really just mostly fixing that that random out of the chest cards. I thought was the only thing they really fixed there.
Yeah. Well, and that's the only thing they say they fixed. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like
Yeah.
just I mean it is it is just from my view from playing last night, like I felt like I got no I can't even remember last night getting a legendary card during a match. But then I did today. And which made me and I got it in the first game, which made me think, well, maybe they kind of pulled him out and then like let him ride again to kind of figure out what was going on and give them time to make a decision and stuff like that. But
I don't know. I was playing about the same time you were last night. I was just playing with the team party people, and we didn't seem to have any problems. Like I thought I was getting the same number of rares and legendaries in my deck as I had on Tuesday.
right, so could just be
You
me.
might have just been having bad luck. I mean,
Yeah,
one thing that I think they really do need to address, and supposedly that's what today was about, was these first 2 days you really had to pray hard to RN Jesus because the randomness of it was really deciding a lot of games. You know,
yeah,
people who got a legendary card right off the bat would just go in and just pwn, and it was kind of ridiculous. Some matches got very, very snowball very, very fast as a result of that. So I'm curious to see it now that they've done this change that you don't get as many legendaries when you're playing and you don't get them right off the bat supposedly. So hopefully that'll keep that snowball, because it's no fun to be on either side of a snowball match, but it's really not fun to be on the losing end of it. So
yeah. Well, and I think that's how we know that there are definitely balance issues in the game. Is that out of all the games I've played so far, I really can only think of like one or two that were really close games, and the
yeah,
rest seemed like one side or the other pretty much won the game.
I
From
had
the
one
beginning.
last night that lasted about 16 minutes, but yeah, most of them are over in about 7.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if I've had a 15-minute one yet.
It was actually a really good, really competitive back and forth match, and we were really good at destroying each other's siege engines. So
And that'll be good. Like when the game gets nice and even like that, like that'll be fun. It's a good time length. Like I really like the fast games right now. So it like doesn't make you feel too bad unless you lose like, 6 in a row and then you're like, "Oh my god. When am I
Yeah,
going
but
to
think
learn how
about
to
it.
play this game?"
Think about this. They might add all sorts of different more modes and stuff. This
Yeah.
game, we might just be seeing just the
I'm sure
tip
we
of
are.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be some more cool game modes that you could do that just going to be out of sight. I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, think about it. Smite was in beta for over a year, right? So we
Yeah,
got some
that's
time
true.
probably before this
And
one's.
they took out different game modes and added different game modes.
So that's kind of the basis. We're not going to go into each of the paladins themselves. It's a lot of fun if you get in. Come join us. Um, there's no guild system yet. There is
but
a
there is friends.
grouping system and friends. Um, and I'm trying to think if there's any. Oh, there's the cards. I guess we didn't really talk about the cards too much. We hinted at them, but since we know what they are, we may be confusing a lot of people. So, like we're saying, you get these cards, you're like, well, what the hell do I need a card for in an FPS? And basically what it is you start off, and each level you get a card. So at level 1, when you start, you get a card. It's actually a choice between 3 cards that are in your deck, and right now all the decks are random, um, kind of, I guess. I mean, they're is that really random that all the cards that you have are in the deck for that here? They call it
Yeah.
random, but whatever. There is some sort of deck builder that's not unlocked yet, so I don't really know what that is, and a mode that deals with that.
Crafting and such stuff.
But for what we can play, basically, you start off each level, you get a choice of between 3 cards, and you get to pick one. And it'll have like abilities, like I play this tank guy a lot, Fernando, and like one of his legendary cards is 100% health, which is
card
great.
so bad. That is so overpowered.
Oh, it's great, man. I had 9,999 health in the last game I played. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Now, when you die, your cards go on, they have like a respawn timer, and it'll be from 20 to 40, 50, 60 seconds or something, depending on the card.
Yeah, generally the better the card, the more rare the card, the longer the cooldown is going to be. So it is a bit of a balance offset to how overpowered
you get a card that has an 80% cooldown on all your cards.
Yeah.
Does that actually? I don't play Pip much, and actually today was the first time I played Pip. I did just a practice match because I knew it would only take a couple minutes, and I saw that. But does that actually impact your card cooldowns, or is that just your ability cooldowns?
No, your card cooldowns. Yeah, your cards come up 80% quicker.
That is
you
crazy.
can tell. You can whoop whoop, just see them all go. Yeah, I got that as a starting card on one of them, and I think it was on Grok, and just starting with that card, man, I was able to just own.
And it does add a weird mechanic to it, because I catch myself, like, if I level up, but I'm in the middle of a team fight, I won't even try, let alone the fact that, you have to actually stop and pick your card in the middle of a team fight. But if there's any chance that you are going to die, you don't want to pick your card right away, because you'll die and it'll go on cooldown right away, where if you just wait until after you die, then you get it right away. Like, it seems a little bit weird.
Well, no, don't your cards go back down on cooldown when you die?
But if you haven't picked it yet, if you've leveled up but you haven't picked your card yet, and you die while you're still in that, pick your card, then you can pick your card right away, and it's not on cooldown.
It also gives you time to like think or whatever, because it's such a fast-paced game that I don't know if it's something they need to fix or if it's just part of the game. When you pick your card, I mean, it fills up your screen and you can't really see anything else, so you're kind of blind. You can still run, but if you're like me, you're just running into a tree or a big rock anyway, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you're trying to read the cards and stuff.
When we were playing on Tuesday, there was that one match where Eric and I were moving together, and we saw one of the enemy. He was just standing there in the middle of the jungle doing nothing, and we just slaughtered him before he could react. And we were sure what it was. Is he was picking his cards. He was standing. He thought he was safe. He was like reading the 3 cards, and the next thing you know, the 2 of us came and just ganked his ass.
Yeah. That's it's an interesting twist to these games to have cards.
You can make like 890B card choices, on your keyboard, or 789 or something like that. So 1, 2, 3. Just show them in a corner, and then you can be like, okay, while you're moving around.
Especially once people know what the cards are and can tell what they are by sight, the way that we are with Smite items now.
Right, and it may not even be an issue at that point once you can just, because you can pop it open and take a look. Because I'll do that a lot. Is just kind of look real quick and then set it back while I'm kind of thinking of which one I want to do, and then go back and pick one.
Another one I find weird is that you have to do that with the mini map too. There's no mini map on screen. You actually have to tab it up, and then it fills your screen. So it's a lot harder to be aware of where your teammates are.
Yeah. But
and
it's
especially if you're in the front. Like if you're if you're playing Fernando and you're in the front, it's sometimes kind of frustrating not knowing where the hell your team is.
well, and the odd thing is that they even have that map anyway. Like most FPSs don't really have a map of the whole thing, really, do they? Like we're used to it because of Smite and MOBAs do.
Yeah, I guess.
Have it up there in the corner. So I was kind of surprised that they had the map anyway. But yeah, you're right. You can tab to it. The other mechanic is having a horse, which I don't know if the key's the best place because it's on the shift and from like Minecraft and stuff. I think that's my run key or
I
something.
changed my keys. There's a problem though. Not all the key bindings are represented in the key bindings.
Well,
I'll get it fixed.
For me as a Smite player, though, I have no issue with it because they're automatically also still bound to the 1, 2, 3, 4 keys, and your horse is your ult. So I don't know. I have no issue with it. I don't I don't even use the shift key. I just still use 1, 2, 3, and to mount and dismount, I hit 4.
You're gonna make an alt card, right? From what I hear.
I don't. I think you made this up. I've heard you say it a few times, but I think you made it up.
Somebody said Drybear said at one time that they were gonna have alt cards.
I think maybe they're talking about like legendaries or something. I mean,
Okay.
I think if you added in
ultimate ability key binding, so it literally lists number 4 as ultimate ability.
Well, but it's your horse.
No, number 4 is your horse, and it's by default.
Right, but in the key bindings, it's not listed as your horse. It's listed as ultimate.
I haven't noticed.
I think someone's been smoking something.
Prove me wrong.
But yeah, so your mount, you can mount and dismount it, which is not fun because it takes a couple seconds for it to come around and you can hop on it again.
You immediately dismount.
Anytime you take damage, you fall off your horse.
Yeah. And it's a big necessary thing in this map because things move fast. You've got to either go defend against sieges, or when you respawn, you respawn at your base unless a siege is active, and then you spawn at the last point where the siege came from. So you need your horse to get back in the fight, and it really moves the game along, and makes it much faster of a game. Like it's not like walking from your base in Assault and they need 30 seconds to get everything all set up. No, the game starts and you're not in your base more than like what? It's like 30 seconds. Is it 30 seconds in the base, or is it? It seems shorter to me.
Yeah, the death respawns. I think the longest death respawn I've seen is about 20 seconds.
So
but most of them seem to be 5 to 10.
Yeah, and then like after your siege is destroyed, another capture point will become. They say spawns, but I think they need to change that to activates, because all the capture points are there throughout the whole game. They just activate so you can take them over, and that's nitpicky, and I'm a nitpicker. So email me at nitpicker@brickcopa.com.
Yeah, it does say ability 1, ability 2, ability 3, ability 4, ult, and actually sprint is your horse mount key also. So sprint is your mount,
but there is no sprint.
The thing I like about it,
your mount. So if you set that sprint to a key, that'll also bring up your mount. Because I don't use the ability 4 to do my mount. I changed the key on sprint, and that's what I used to get on the mount.
But okay, going back to the horses, the thing I love about the concept is the map is the right size for when you're not on your horses and you're actually fighting. It's a nice big area, lots of little paths through it's like a one big jungle, and yet, yeah, like Brent was saying, when you have a map that big, if you're actually just have to walk through it, it's boring as hell when you're trying to get to the fight. So having this horse, it's almost like just shrinking the map for the boring parts and keeping the map the right size for when you're actually playing the game, which is fighting each other.
Yeah, and so I think that's we've done cards, horses. I guess also with the cards, you can do card crafting. so you will get duplicates of cards, and you
What I
can
would
use.
like an answer to on that,
Uh
though,
huh.
is if you have duplicates of a card, does it make it more likely that that card will appear in your deck when you're playing? Because if that's the case, and you've got good duplicates of some lower level cards, you might not want to craft them. But you don't get to pick which cards you consume when you're crafting.
Right.
So I did all the crafting that I could, and now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of regret it. I'm wondering if I made a mistake to do that, that I should have left them as they were.
Uh, if it does increase them in your deck, I think that would be a bug, and they would probably fix it.
Mm,
Because at least in the current thing where the deck's supposed to be random, like later when you can craft your deck, if you can put X amount of cards, kind of like a Magic the Gathering,
yeah.
deck or something, then I could see putting, four of this and four of this, and uh, trying to ensure, getting certain cards. Uh,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So it's a very interesting question, though. So I don't know. I did the same thing. I crafted on mine because basically, if you're trying to get legendaries or epic cards, you can actually craft up to them from your lower
Are you
cards
able
and
to do
stuff.
that already?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just
Yep.
go
Oh,
into
because
the
you have to have dupes and stuff, right? That's the
Yeah,
thing.
you have to
yeah.
have duplicates to do it.
Now, if
And
you
it's
get the starter the founders pack, you will have duplicates for sure.
yeah.
Uh,
And you get a card every time you win a match. You get a card. So even just by winning, you're going to end up with duplicates.
Yeah. And now leveling, you get 5 cards every level it appears.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
cards, 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 and then there's another chest which I don't know what you get it for, but I assume it gives you some good cards. We don't know what you'll be buying yet. Of course, we'll assume skins, horses. Uh, well, I guess you buy gems or whatever they're called, but you'll use them on stuff. You also get gold for winning or losing games, so that'll probably be like favor and smite, and you'll be able to buy
Yeah.
stuff at outrageous prices for them.
I'm not sure if it's favor or if it's XP, but I guess you played today. Like, does your gold earned seem to go along with your leveling,
Well,
or
it's
have they
just
added a
each
new
match.
XP?
Like we've been getting gold. The XP is added. It's a new thing. It actually tells
Okay,
you.
so it is new.
Yeah,
They've
and you get
added
XP
XP to
for
level.
how
Okay.
well you do. You get like a bonus for doing well, like above and beyond just winning. I think so. Which still I haven't really figured out exactly their scoring system yet, but that'll be interesting to figure that out.
Isn't the score like sometimes when you're I know, like, for instance, with Grok, when I'm using the because Grok's auto attack is a constant stream of damage, and so you aim it at someone and you get it, and if you hit consistently enough or something, there'll be a little +4 damage dealer will pop up on screen, and I think that's what translates into score at the end of the match.
Huh? I
That's just a
could.
theory,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I think, and that happens for doing different things. I think for like
yeah.
tanking a lot, doing damage a lot, doing different things. So I can definitely feed into it. I don't know if the points you get when you're on the point add into that or not. But I would assume it does because there's a lot of times the person who did the most damage and got the most kills actually doesn't have the best
Low
score.
score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
um, I and all I can think is maybe the people who are on the points are getting more points than that, and that's why they're higher than the killers because the killers notoriously aren't on the points.
See, and I think that's a really good idea that they did with this game, and they've obviously really focused it by having, the team levels up together. You don't specifically level up because you got more kills. The way that the scoring works, where assists is listed before kills,
Yeah,
and the score doesn't seem to be tied to the kills. It really makes it more of you don't focus so much on or people don't focus as much on their own play. I haven't seen anyone raging about kill steals or anything like that. The only real problem I've seen is just some people who play Sky who is Paladin's version of Loki, and play like Loki. And that's great for killing people, but it doesn't necessarily help your team in securing the objectives. So that's the only time I've ever seen it. But you can't even really blame the player for that, because she really is built to be that kind of assassin. She's not meant to stand on the point. So, it's hard to say. But I will say this, and shout out to Dakota, who's in chat right now. He played Skye with me last night, and she can support like nobody's business. So I was playing Grok, and he was playing Skye, and he was doing a great job keeping me alive, because anytime someone came after me, he ganked them. So
nice. And I guess that's pretty much the game in a nutshell. And we've been talking for a while. There may be a show coming out, a new podcast about Paladins. Still in talks about that. So we'll definitely let you know if that happens here. Yeah, that's about. Anybody have any closing words?
Well, let's ask the important question. So we've all been playing 2 days. You've been playing 3, Brent. Brent, who's your favorite champion so far? Who's your favorite Paladin?
Oh, I right now Fernando is probably my favorite.
I thought going in it was going to be Fernando, because he looks like Ares, and he reads like he would play like Ares, but he doesn't have the damage of Ares. So for me, it is Grok.
Better.
That the chain lightning and being able to put down that heal totem is I'm loving Grok.
I had 28 kills my last game with Fernando.
How the hell did you manage that?
Oh God,
or was that knockouts? Was that 28 assists?
No, that was kills.
28 killing blows.
28 killing blows, the last number.
Damn.
I had the shield reflect.
Oh yeah, I like that card.
But I mean, he is just because he is a tank. Man, I was getting Skye a lot. I was getting they had a Skye and a Cassie, I think. I was getting both of them a lot because they think they can take me down, and I don't know. I feel like he does a good bit of damage if you go in there, and his one can do some. I mean, it does like 350 or something crazy. But yeah, no, it really helps have that shield thing when they're not expecting it. All suddenly, every time they do damage, it does 80 back to them.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that does definitely help.
And I did have the double hit points, so I had that game. I had almost 10,000. I was 1 hit point away from having 10,000.
Cards matter.
RNG just smiled upon you.
Yes. But yeah, so thanks for listening. The one great thing about the game, not the one great thing, but one great thing about the game is from day one, they're letting everybody stream and record. So be sure to check out everybody's channels. I know Ragins, you've already had a video or two, right?
I have a video up, and I've streamed both Tuesday night and last night.
So check out Ragins, Ragnan Chiron. It's right there on the screen on both. Karen, Ragin, Couragein, whatever. And then Bitburners, I think he's making some music or something.
Yeah, trying to.
He's going to make an opening bumper or something.
Yeah.
Liar. Just a liar. That's just kidding. Anyway, see y'all later. Y'all have a great week. Bye. Okay, let's go play some Paladins.